Welcome to everyone. Today our guest is Matthew Colquhoun. Matthew, thank you so much for accepting the invitation for the interview. And got to say, I'm very much pleased because you're the first Jamaican MMA fighter in the show. So thank you so much for accepting. And what can you say about yourself for the brief introduction?
Well, again, Vladimir, thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. My name is Matthew, as you said, the Gold Lion from Kingston, Jamaica. I'm an MMA fighter, Pan American Sambo champion 3 times, yeah, I'm just a cool, chillax person.
Samba was your first martial art, or
No, I actually started out doing capoeira and karate.
karate? And
Yes.
when did you start training MMA? I mean, when was your first contact with the MMA?
My first contact with the MMA started some guys from Brazil. They came, they were doing capoeira in Jamaica, and they came, and before capoeira class they would be watching MMA fights back in Brazil. And I got really curious to see what it was because I had no idea, any idea about MMA or, people fighting in the cage. So when I saw that, and I thought, like, it really intrigued me. I'm like, yo, what is this? What is this? And they showed me that it's MMA, and they were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu after classes. So I just sticked around, being the third wheel, I was a little kid, but I just sticked around there and watched them, and eventually they invited me on the mat to do some training.
Do you have a nickname?
Go Lion.
Well done. One of the
Go
most
Lion.
original, definitely.
Yes.
What can you say about your Sambo achievements? How hard it was? Please keep talking. I'm back in 10 seconds. Keep talking, please.
Well, my sambo started in 2017. I really started doing that. A friend of mine from Trinidad got me involved with sambo, telling me about the sport and that I should give it a try. So I started in 2017 doing sambo. Really on the beach, it was just beach sambo because in Jamaica we didn't have anything regards to wrestling or sambo, so we didn't have any coaches or schools or anybody to show us what sambo was. So I really just looked up videos, and a couple of friends of mine, we went on the beach and we started sambo, and then my friend went to Trinidad and participated in the Pan American Games, and he invited me, and I went there and saw what sambo was, put on a gi for the first time, and I competed, and it was a good experience, and it really got me involved. It really added a lot of different dimension to my striking, because I'm more of a striker because I'm a striking base. I grew up doing karate and capoeira and kung fu, things like that. So sambo, it kind of gave me a diversity in learning a little bit of wrestling and to strike as well.
I'd like to ask you one technical question from Sambo because in Bulgaria we have a lot of Sambo clubs. So I'm going to ask you one thing. According to your point of view, what do you think, how hard it is to perform a submission switch on the opponent's leg? I mean, on the opponent's arm or neck, it doesn't look too hard. But when you go for a submission switch, for example, when you go from a heel hook, when you go to an ankle lock and vice versa, or to a knee bar, people say it's very hard. Since you train Sambo, what do you think about that?
For me, I'm a long guy. I have long limbs, long. So I go for the legs. I go for heel hooks because those things are there. It's easy for me to just flip my leg up to go in an Iminabi roll, or to lock up an ankle lock or a knee bar or arm bar triangles, things like this. So like it depends. Like sometimes in a competitive match, the person is not just gonna lay there and just say, here's my leg, take it, get the ankle lock or or straight knee bar or something. So you have to have some form of skill, some sort of skill level, and I would say cunningness to also be able to distract the person to get that heel hook or ankle lock.
What do you think of Randy Brown, the Jamaican UFC guy?
Oh, Randy. Randy is a good friend of mine. I have Randy Brown, Aljamain Sterling, Uriah Hall. All these guys are from Jamaican descent. I have a personal relationship with Randy Brown and Aljamain. Randy's actually just got into training camp. He has a fight coming up in the UFC. Lately it's been a rocky road for him. He had to take some time and just to refine himself and get back that hungry spirit that to go back in there and show that what he can do, because he's a very good fighter, very technical striker. Has a lot of very good experience in the ground. He's a brown belt in BJJ, so he has the potential to be the top fighter in the world. So he really, I really spoke to him lately, and he said, he's just back in there. He's just, with a new fire, a new flame, and hungry to get out there and get another win.
Every time I was watching Randy was striking. Every single time I watched him 3 times. All 3 times he was striking.
Yeah, he said the fight with his previous fight before his last one, he submitted the Brazilian guy in Brazil. And he was a black belt. So he has submissions, he has strike, he has great knees and boxing combinations. So he's a well-rounded fighter. And he's a great guy overall.
Outstanding, really. And what can you say about your first amateur MMA fight? Do you still remember how it looked like?
Of course, man. That I'm good. I remember, getting the fight. I remember my first weight cut. I remember, going to the face off, fight and say, going and standing up in front of my phone and staring them in the eyes and say, well, we're gonna fight tomorrow. Walking out, picking my entrance song, walking out to the crowd. I actually flew to Curacao for my first amateur fight. So I was fighting a hometown guy. So it was the crowd was against me. They were all cheering for the hometown guy. So I'm from Jamaica, coming in, trying to get the victory. And I went in there, and it really fueled me. It really fueled me to put on a good performance, because I went there and I'm going into his territory, and it really motivated me and pushed me to really go out there and fight. And it was a good experience. I had tons of fun. I had a lot of learning experience from that fight, and it just gave me the drive to just want to do more, because it was the whole experience, the adrenaline rush, the experience traveling to fight, and being in the cage and knowing it's just me and another person, and who wants it more, so it was a good mental test for me. It was a good fight experience.
How did your first professional MMA fight go?
My first professional MMA fight was I think it was in Colombia. I traveled to Colombia. I did some training there with a couple friends, and I fought in Colombia. I fought in Medellin, Colombia, and it was pretty alright. Once I started getting more amateur fights and started getting used to training and fight camp and weight cuts and preparing for a fight, I didn't really see it as, oh, now I'm a professional. And that added a little bit more pressure. I didn't look at it as that. I looked at it as another fight. I went in there and got the chance to perform and do what I love. Plus, also I got paid at the end of it, so it was just a win-win for me. I went out there. I put it. I'm an entertainer. I'm not just a fighter. I just don't go in there and fight and just I entertain. I like to entertain. So I always choose good walkout music, and I'm always dancing before I reach the cage. My entrance to the cage, I always walk in and get into a good energy, a good vibe, and then when I go in there, I get to showcase what I've been training, showcase my skills, and then get paid at the end. So it was really nice. It was really good for me. and it really solidified to say this is something that I want to do, long term.
Yeah, you chose your career definitely. And about your second professional fight, it was like ordinary routine or
Yeah, my second professional fight was like just another one. Once I got the first one, I'm like, all right, I took some time off and, start working a normal job. I took some time off and started working a normal job, studying and things. And then I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but it didn't give me the excitement, the excitement that fighting brought me. So I just decided to go back to fighting and say, I want this feeling again. I want you know, this adrenaline rush and things. So I went back and got another fight. And man, every fight has something special. It has a special memory to me. Whether I win a fight or lose a fight, I always go in there fighting and come out with an experience, a life experience, an experience that I always, go in there knowing that it's two people competing, one has to win, one has to lose at the end of the day, but it's two warriors. And I give my opponents all the respect because I know that without them, there wouldn't be a fight. So I give them all the respect and I know that it's a fight game, but it's a sportsmanship as well because apart from him being the opponent, he's an individual and he has a story. And I always think about that. And I go in there, and afterwards I fight. I always try to talk to my opponents, whether some of them might not want to because if they lose, there might be in their feelings at the time. But I always go there to to be respectful. So my second fight was really good. I try to build friendship with my opponents. And me and some of my former opponents are pretty cool friends. We not the best of friends, but we're acquaintances and we talk.
what happened against Ray Cooper? That was the fastest loss of your career, right? It was a lucky punch or
What that fight, as a youngster, you feel undefeated. You've gone undefeated in your fighting career, and as you don't have management at that time. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have a management, and I just wanted to fight. I just wanted to fight at the time. I needed some cash. I needed some money, and at the time, I just wanted to fight. And a promoter hit me up and told me he has a 3-0 guy. Because as you know, in the fight business, there are some shady people in there. So they told me that this guy was 3-0. He didn't, they didn't give me his right record and all these things. And and as a young kid, because I was like 19, 20 at that time, I just wanted to fight. I didn't even care. I felt undefeated. I was undefeated. I knocked people out in the first round. I didn't, it didn't really matter who it was. But at that time, you need guidance, and that's one of the things I really want to emphasize as being important to any young fighter out there, whether they're watching this or listening it, and they're in the MMA game, that you have to have guidance. You have to have people that you trust around you to guide you the right way, to help you to ensure that, people are promoters or promotions are not trying to take advantage of you. So take your time. Any fighters, take your time, build yourself, ensure that you have people around you that you trust and that has the best interest for you. Because that fight, I should have never fought because I was just a 2-0 fighter going up against a guy that is 10-2, way more experience, and the promotion just was a very dealt with the situation very shady, and they weren't upfront, and it was just a bad experience overall for me. Coming from Jamaica, flying all the way to Hawaii, they did all kind of shady things, with the flights and with, by the time I got there, I was drained and, it was just a very bad experience for me. But, I guess everything happens for a reason. I had to learn that way. I had to learn from that experience. I had to go through there to find out, say, okay, I can't just do this all by myself. I need people that has been in the game. I need guidance from a coach, a management team, things like this. People that have interest for me. So at that fight, as you said, it lasted pretty. It was very quickly. It really wasn't a fight for me at all. It was a major learning experience.
But you definitely looked like a different man against Emre Orun. That's why I asked you that question.
Yes, yes, yes. After that, I mean, I just took the time out to, build myself and train and prepare and get better.
You also fought Miguel Baeza. Miguel Baeza is now UFC fighter with an undefeated score. So what can you say about Miguel Baeza as the opponent? I mean, I was many times asked about Miguel Baeza versus Takashi Sato about that fight. I gave very slight favor to Baeza, but what can you say as a guy who shared the cage with him?
He's a very lucky dude. That's what I'm saying. Because our fight went, I would say, I fought Miguel Behaza and I had him running. I think I was a little bit overzealous, too confident, and didn't pay my respects, knowing that he's a pretty good fighter, and that no matter how wounded a person is, they can always come back. And I fought Miguel Behaza, and he's a pretty good. He's a pretty patient guy. He's a pretty patient guy that stays in the pocket and that will be very. He's very calculated. He's a very calculated fighter. He stays in the pocket and he really doesn't overextend, or he just does enough and does it efficiently. And he's a good fighter. That I have to give it to him. And he has grown. He has grown, and hopefully one day I'll get the chance to fight him again. I want that. Because I think that fight was very close, and he got I wouldn't say lucky punch, but I was winning that fight and he got a punch that really blocked my equilibrium off, and he got the win. So that's one fight I want. Hopefully I'm gonna work my way. And eventually, I know I'm going to get to the UFC. And when I get there, there's one fight I'm definitely going to ask for because I want to fight him again.
Again, I'm dying to see that rematch, not going to lie to you. How did you defeat Kerry Latimer?
I think it was a turnaround TKO. Kerry Latimer was a very good fight. I dominated the entire 3 rounds. I think the ref had it seen enough in the third round to give me the win, because in all 3 rounds he was close to being out. But I'd say he has a chin, and he's a very tough person. He didn't want to go out, but eventually he did.
Got to say that you fought many high-quality guys. You also fought Spike Carlisle at your LFA debut, who's now also a UFC fighter. So was LFA debut a stressful experience for you? I mean, LFA is a very strong promotion. People undermine the power of LFA.
No, LFA is real. LFA has now become the main feeder promotion to the UFC. 90% of LFA fighters that fight on LFA goes to the UFC. And fighting Spike Carlisle there, again, everything happens for a reason, I just have to say. And each time I fight, either I win or I learn. And I always learn from these fights. And again, if you have seen that fight, I was winning the fight, but sometimes it's a bad habit of mine. So when I see somebody hurt, I go there and try to, I instinctively just try to just brawl. And I got in a brawl with him. I was winning the fight, and I got in a brawl with him, and he was tired and running, and he just threw a spinning elbow, and he caught me. And but Spike Spike's a good fighter, but I don't think he's at the level of the youth of Miguel Daves or different people that I've fought.
When it comes to inking UFC, you have one very good potential. You want to brawl, and UFC favors brawlers over defensive guys. You know that they released the last Teodoro for boring fights. Yeah, you remember that. So they prefer brawlers. What can you say about your last fight, this LFA event, Mark Martin? How do you feel about the fight? Did you have a specific game plan? Did your coach have a specific tactic, or
Yeah, we did. We knew that Mark was going to come in with the to implement his wrestling because he's a D1 level wrestler, state champion. So I know he was going to go for the takedown. He really didn't want to fight with me. We went in there and I was winning on the feet. He took me down and basically laid on me for 2 rounds. Laid on me, did not want to do anything, and I believe that with a little more with us, I have to work on my strength, my strength and conditioning to really develop more strength because he laid on me and he made it very difficult for me to get back up. I got back up each time, but he made it whenever he got that double leg and he took me down. He would just lay there and just not just relying on the time to run out, and because he didn't really want to engage whenever we were on the feet. In the third round, I figured out this plan, and I changed my tactics, and I won the third round. But he did enough in the first and second to get that fight with the takedowns. Yes.
analyzing your MMA career as of now? Who was the toughest opponent for you and why? I mean, whole career.
The whole career is either. This is the thing. My fights goes either way. Either I win very fast or I lose very fast, or I've only gone the distance I think 3 times. 3 times and not even 3 times, twice. Only gone the distance twice in my fight career. That was with Mark, my last fight, and also what's his name? The fight previous to that. Previous to that, I fought this guy, another wrestler. And I think the toughest fight out of it was probably Miguel. Miguel was very tricky. He's a very tricky guy. I had to do a lot of unorthodox moves to really catch him. But I think that was if I would say any fight, I think that one was.
What are your plans for the future? You plan to get back into the winning column to fish for UFC contract, or you plan to remain at LFA at the moment?
Well, we're planning to. My next fight with LFA is in March. We're planning to just work on what I did wrong in my previous fight over the past weekend, which was really just working on my wrestling defense. So we're heading back after this holiday break. We're heading back to the gym and just gonna sharpen up our tools. Not just physically but mentally as well. Sharpen up my tools. Sharpen up my striking. Definitely sharpen up my wrestling. Adding some different regimens in there to also gain a little bit more strength and just continue working on becoming a better fighter. I know I'm not chasing down UFC at the moment because I know eventually I'll get there. because I know that I'm a I'm a world class fighter, and I know eventually I'm getting there. I'm just working on the formula, the right formula, getting everything together. And when we get that formula correct, then they go see the world gonna see a different goal line, and eventually you'll see me in the top promotions, the top rankings.
Would you like to give a shout out to someone? Maybe would you like to greet someone? Would you like to say thanks to somebody? To say something we didn't say, maybe.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you, Latimer, for giving me this medium to to just share and other people to just see and get to know who I am. I really appreciate that. I want to thank my team, Dragon House MMA. They've always stuck with me. Stuck with me, pushing me when I win, when I lose, when I'm not fighting. They're there. I want to thank my wife. She's always supporting me and helping me chase my dreams, even when I'll be down sometimes and don't want to train. She'd be like, "Go, because you're gonna be miserable if you don't train anyways." So, thanks to my wife, thanks to my team, Dragon House, and first of all, thanks to the Creator, Most High Allah Akbar, because without God, without the Creator, there's nothing. So I give all praises to Allah.
Thank you so much for this interview. I will start creating video now. You can expect it in around tomorrow morning your time. The video will be ready. So I will send you video and you can share it.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Thank you,
Thank you
man.
so much.
I'll
Have a great
definitely.
day.
All right, you too. All right. Bye.
Goodbye.